Hey guys, what's up? My name is HamdogCDXX, and today guys I am bringing you a 1v1 siege battle on Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD Total War, and it is between the Kingdom of Denmark and the Kingdom of France. I'll be defending as Denmark, so let's get into my army composition. Okay guys, so firstly for my army, I'm bringing 6 units of these landsmen to the battle, so they are high period heavy pike infantry, so it should be really good combined in with our 6 units of spearmen as well, which should be able to help hold the front lines. So we're bringing 4 units of speed huskars to the battlefield, and also 2 units of the skulled spearmen as well, which are basically a counterpart of France's Purvis shields. I am also bringing 8 units of this Gotland Bondier. It is a very light melee infantry, however it is tier 2, so they are going to hold up fairly well in combat. However, I'm assuming they're going to be very susceptible to archery fire, given that they've got very small shields and fairly light armour as well. I'm also bringing 2 units of Huskars of the late period, just so I've got some heavy infantry in reserve that I can use later on in the battle. I do only have 2 units of them, but they should definitely get some kills when we send them into battle. So for my archer force, I'm bringing 3 units of this Langbuster. I think that's how you say it anyway. So they are medium bow infantry, tier 1, and the reason why I've brought those is because they have a nice range of 200, so they should be able to outrange most other enemy archer units, and therefore we should be able to get some nice kills on them. And then I'm also bringing 3 units of Hanseatic infantry for my crossbow units, and they're going to do really well at tearing up enemy infantry that gets a little bit too close. So I've got 3 units of them, and then I've also got 2 units of heavy crossbows over at the town centre as well. Yeah, so they've got massive Purvis crossbows, a bit like mercenary Genoese crossbows, so they're going to be really hard for the enemies to deal with, which is why I'm going to save them for the last stand. And then all that's left of my force now is my cavalry, so I've got 4 units of this Ridder of the high period, and they're going to do really nice if you can get some nice side charges into the enemy flanks, and hopefully we can maybe break some of the enemy units by doing so. And for my general, I'm bringing the Konge of Denmark, which I believe translates to the King of Denmark of the high period. So yeah, he's looking really epic and ready for battle. And finally, I'm bringing 1 catapult unit to the battle, and hopefully I can get some nice shots off into enemy clumps of troops, and hopefully I can use that catapult nice and effectively. But anyway, that's enough of my army comp, so let's go and take a look at the attackers. So the French army is commanded by the boss 1111, so thanks to boss for inviting me to this game. It turned out really nicely. But anyway, let's take a look at his army composition. So he's bringing 6 units of these Purvisiers of the late period, so they're a heavy spear infantry, and they're definitely going to be able to deal with the majority of my sword units, just from the simple fact that they've got so much armour in this unit, and the massive shields as well. They do look fairly epic. So for his halberd force, he's bringing 2 units of halberdiers of the late period, so they're going to be really nice to push through my lines in a phalanx formation and break up my shield walls and stuff like that. And then he's also bringing 2 units of dismounted Jean de Cheval, and also 2 units of dismounted gendarmes of the late period as well. So both of those will be really good at just wrecking my units if you can get a nice charge off. He's also bringing 5 units of foot Homesdarms of the high period, so they are a tier 2 heavy melee infantry, and they should definitely be able to deal with my swordsmen at the walls, seeing as my swords are definitely much more lightly armoured than his swords are. And then he's also bringing 2 units of Free Company footmen, so these guys only have 90 men in the unit. However, they are still a fairly cost-effective unit. They can get some nice kills if you use them correctly, and they've got a fair amount of armour as well, so they should do okay. And then he's bringing 1 unit of Peleria as well, so they're probably not going to do much. They do have a peeler throw though, so maybe he'll get some kills with that, but other than that I don't really see them doing too much in this battle. And for his missile unit, he's bringing 3 units of Scots Guard, and these guys are only a tier 1 medium bow infantry, but don't be fooled, they do have some amazing stats. They've got a range of 200 and also a missile damage of 65, which for a longbow unit is very rare, so hopefully they should get some nice kills for the Kingdom of France. And then he's got 4 units of these Arbaletiers of the late period, so they're a really heavy crossbow infantry, and they have a missile damage of 105, guys. That is absolutely insane, so I need to stay away from those crossbows, otherwise my army will just get wrecked. And then for his last unit of crossbows, he's just bringing 1 unit of mercenary Genoese crossbowmen. Love these units with the shields, they just look absolutely amazing. And yet they're going to do a lot of damage just like the Arbaletier will as well. And then for the boss's cavalry, he's bringing 1 unit of Gascon horsemen of the high period, so this is a medium melee cavalry tier 2. And then he's bringing 2 units of Homed Arms of the late period, so they will absolutely wreck my units if you can get some nice flank and charge up with these guys. And then alongside that, he's bringing Joan of Arc as well, which is nice to see Joan of Arc on the battlefield. So yeah, maybe we can see the Maid of Orleans get some kills in this battle. We will see how that goes. And then for his general as well, he is bringing the Count's Household Guard of the high period. So he's just bringing a lower tier general so that he can put his money into everything else. And finally, the boss is bringing 1 catapult and 1 bombard to the battle. So I'm guessing he's going to use his bombard to take out some holes in the walls, and then use his catapult to fire at my men. But anyway, guys, now that we've finished the army comms, let's get straight to the battle. So guys, here we go. The Kingdom of France is pushing their men up towards the gatehouse. They've already taken out both of these towers with their bombards, and they are firing at this big section of the city, burning absolutely all of the buildings and not leaving any buildings unburnt over in this section. I don't know why he isn't shooting for the other sections, but I guess he's hit a few in the center as well. And 1 over on the side as well there, but yeah, you can see just absolute carnage. You would not want to be hiding in your hovel if you lived in any of these houses. That would not end well for you. But I've actually had to pull back all of my men from this street because they were taking...
Enemy forces have destroyed the gate!
They were taking too much artillery fire, so I've pulled back to the inner layers of the city, but I'm not ready to give up the outer walls just yet. However, they have broken the gatehouse. Usually I do send a unit to try to defend the gatehouse, however, at this point it just isn't really a very strategic point anymore, seeing as it's so close to all of their archers. And yeah, there's this big hill up here that they can all get up on as well. So I decided to pull back from that. They are taking damage from the, I believe there's burning oil that's still pouring down on them as they ran through. So they did take a little bit of damage from that. But they are going to start to take the gatehouse. So I'm going to start moving up some of my Gotland Bondier. So these guys do look fairly heavily armoured. I mean, for a very light melee infantry, they still look like they've got a fair amount of chainmail on. So I guess they're going to do fairly well, but hopefully this doesn't hit them. No, it's going to go overhead and hit the buildings instead. But he is definitely focusing on taking out my morale. Now, if we take a look at the settlement damage, yeah, you can see he's already taken out 13% of the settlement, and I already have -2 on morale, melee attack, and melee defense. So he's definitely using his artillery very well, and there goes another tower just as I say that. So yeah, well done. The enemy player is the boss 111, as you saw before, and he's a really good player. I've played a lot of battles with him. So yeah, he's definitely playing very strategically to try and knock me out. But yeah, as you can see, most of my men aren't really doing anything. We do, however, have a unit of swords over here, some foot Homed Arms of the high period, and they are going to land over here, which is pretty much undefended. However, we do have 3 archer towers over here, so they should pretty much get wrecked as they jump off the walls. Yeah, they're already down to 108. There is only 1 unit of swords as well. There's a couple more units heading over to this flank as well, but I do have sword units moving over to intercept them. But yeah, it could be pretty bad for us if he manages to take the gatehouse. But I didn't want to, I wasn't really focused on this side, seeing as the entire side was over there, his entire force. So yeah, he did manage to sneak a unit in. He is going to try and take the gatehouse. But yeah, we'll see how that goes in a minute. We're not actually going to engage him just yet. But over at the walls, you can see we've charged in 2 units of the Gotland Bondier into the foot Homed Arms. And yeah, they're getting a fair few kills. My Gotland Bondier is taking a lot of missile damage though. Look at this guy up on the wall, like ready to jump off and like ambush someone. I'd love to see that as an animation if we could ever get that in Total War, where someone would jump off a high ledge and just like, you know, like in Assassin's Creed where they jump off and just stick the sword through the guy's shoulder. Oh my god, that'd be so amazing. But no, one can hope. But yeah, you can see he's got all of his Scots Guard over here, which are moving up into a more advantageous position on the top of the hill as well. And they're just ripping apart my Bondia. They're not getting too many kills, but they will be very soon. And there goes some more massive artillery hits. Luckily, I'm in loose formation, but he did take out 10 guys with that volley, which is, you know, definitely not what I want. I haven't even used any of their ammo yet. So, definitely using his artillery and his archers very well so far. He's still not moved up his towers to the walls. It looks like he's starting to do so now, because you can see that I'm not actually defending this wall at the moment. And the reason I'm not defending the wall is just simply because of the artillery. If I do move any units up over here, he is just going to attack me. And there is only 2 ways in, so there's this way and this way. So I feel like I can, you know, appropriately defend it. And also the archer towers over here have both been completely destroyed. So yeah, there's not really much point in defending those walls at the moment. But maybe we can get some nice charges off later on. Over at the walls, though, we have got some Paviciers of the late period pushing in against my men. Let's see if we can get amidst the fighting over here. See if we can get any kills. Oh, here's the battle line. Oh, some guy lost his head over there. But yeah, we are chipping away at them. But the spears are going to hold for a long time, even though we are breaking the swords. Over on the other side, though, oh, I just missed it. He sent in his units of Gascon horsemen, but it did get outflanked by 2 of my sword units. And also, I've got my Ridder over here, which is going to go in for a charge. And I'm pulling out my Gondia at the last moment, just so I can get the most effective charge possible. And then here we go, we've got another unit of horsemen coming in over here, knocking down a lot of my own men, not really getting a good charge off. But certainly enough to put the enemy cavalry into harm's way. And yeah, I'm going to redeploy my swordsmen over to the other sides at this point, seeing as they're not needed over at this side anymore. And yeah, my cavalry is just going to mop those up. So yeah, now all of my infantry is focused on this side. I did have a couple of units over at this gatehouse. I forgot to show you them, but I did leave a couple over here in case he did decide to send any units around, but he's not going to do that, so fairly momentarily I will bring those units back over to defend this side of the city. But yeah, guys, this is a massive battle. It's going to last an hour long from this point, so maybe I will make a few cuts through some of the more boring parts of the battle. But yeah, guys, it looks like we have a couple more units of these Gotland Bondi. I did bring 8 units, and they are a very effective unit. If we take a look at the units fighting at the wall, which are still fighting for a very light melee unit, it's fairly good. They do only have 7 kills. However, they've held the units in place long enough for my archers to get a fair amount of kills. Or I don't know, maybe they're getting a lot of friendly fire with the Scots Guard, actually, because I haven't even got any kills with my units so far. So yeah, let's just take a look at the man count, see how many each of our forces have lost. Yeah, he's lost 4,000 men, and the majority of those are the swords and the horsemen that tried to attack this flank but didn't really do much. And he did get a few kills on my horsemen on my swords as well. But at this point you can see he's just managed to outflank me, so to slow him up I'm going to charge this depleted unit into the unit that's flanking round. I'm getting some nice flanking fire from my Langbuster as well. And he is sending his spears up, but I'm going to manage to charge him in the back over here, which is just what I need because it gives me just enough time to form a defensive line over here with this next sword unit. Otherwise he would have been able to get into my archers and I would have had to pull back even more. So yeah, he's pulling those swords back at this point, but they did their job. They're going to retreat back into the city, but they did just enough to allow my men to form a shield wall over here, and they're just going to set up over here. I do have another unit coming over as well from over that side. But yeah, that is going to be a fairly bad engagement for us against those spears. That definitely don't want to charge them. Over on this side as well, we have got a couple of units fighting on the walls. I did say I'm not really defending this, but as you can see, this is exactly why I didn't want to defend this side, because of all of his missile units just getting absolutely a ton of kills on my units. My units, again, not really getting too many kills, but they are only like, I think, 450 each or something like that. They're not very expensive. Over here as well, I've managed to sneak another unit of my Bondia through after I've charged in the Pavis line. He did leave a gap on either side, actually, so these Pavis not getting the best formation. I do believe he'll probably send something up to resupport them. But yeah, I'm going to form my line up over here, and I'm going to see if I can charge in, it looks like. Oh no, I think I'm actually setting up a defensive line over here, so that they can't reinforce. And yeah, you can see the cavalry is moving up, and hopefully we can get a nice charge up on the spears. I don't believe he's sending any units over this way yet, but I thought I put a unit in there just to protect the cavalry's rear. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to be able to form these guys up and get a really nice charge off. Come on guys, let's see this charge. They don't have much space to get a nice run up, but it looks like they're going to do okay. No, it was a pretty weak charge, unfortunately. And now they are taking missile fire in the back from the Scots Guard, I do believe. So I think at this point I'm probably going to pull them out fairly soon, because they're just getting wrecked. Yeah, that didn't really go to plan. And here comes a massive artillery fire as well. Ooh, some massive hits there in my units. I do say massive a lot, don't I? But yeah, you got maybe a little bit of friendly fire there, but definitely doing its job. And as you can see, this is exactly why the swordsmen were put up here. And I do manage to get a charge off on his horsemen when he isn't looking, and on his swords as well. And that is just enough for me to get a little bit more space for this cavalry unit to get a nice charge off. But unfortunately, he is going to push his swordsmen into my cavalry as well. But here is the charge I was waiting for, guys. A perfect charge. Nice lances down. And yeah, those spearmen are just going to get wrecked from that charge. Their morale now is down to 15, and it should be dropping their numbers as well. Yeah, down to 75 men. Meanwhile, I've actually murdered all of his units over here. And I do have a unit of my crossbows up on the walls as well, who are trying to take out the enemy crossbows. Let's see how they're doing over here. Yeah, it looks like there's not many casualties on both sides due to the fact that we've all got Pavis shields, or well, at least heavy shields, for our crossbows. Some nice strong defense, but he realizes that this archer combat is not going to be very good for either of us. We're both going to use a lot of ammo up, and he does have 3 units. A nice artillery hit there though. So he is going to send up some halberds. However, these halberds again do not have very good missile block chance, so he does need to be careful with them. Over here, these spears are still holding on, which is really annoying, because I could really use the sword support over at the gate as well. It looks like these 3 units are really starting to get depleted by the enemy forces. He's got some cavalry in here, and some swordsmen, and some spears as well. So the mix of all the different units is definitely helping him out. And yeah, he's sending in more Pavis shields, it looks like, to bolster the lines. And it looks like he's just trying to force his way past my lines over here. But I am managing to get some more of my cavalry around the side as well. As you can see, this is completely about to break. And also he's got his halberds up from the wall, so I'm going to... looks like I'm accidentally charging in my archers, which is a shame. Yeah, he's just ripping those crossbows apart. But it looks like most of them are going to get away. Oh my god, and this cavalry unit as well, just getting absolutely murdered by the Scots Guard. So I'm going to send those into combat, charge them into the halberds, which don't have any shields. Hopefully getting a fair amount of kills there. And also I've got my archers set up in this nice position over here, where they've got a little bit of a hill advantage to get some kills on the enemy forces. And over here as well, you can see, yeah, my cavalry is just being completely destroyed over there. Luckily, I do have, I believe, 2 more units of cavalry. Yeah, I've got 1 over here and 1 sitting over by the engagement, ready to help. Ooh, that was close. He nearly got some friendly fire there, but it looks like he is going to take down this section of the wall, which is why I've actually pulled back some archers as well to stay away from those as well. And yeah, over here I've got some archers still firing. I thought about turning around to fire on them, but it looks like I'm just trying to hold off the enemy archers from coming up the towers. And here we go, guys, another really nice charge from my cavalry. Not the best charge. A lot of the enemy halberds still holding their line, still standing their ground. But I am going to fall back for a second charge. Ooh, and again, some more friendly fire. Maybe taking out some of my cavalry as well, but definitely not advantageous for him, especially seeing as I've got my archers firing on his men as well. But yeah, let's jump into this unit while they get this nice charge off. Can we get any closer to the front? Oh god, guys, they just got absolutely wrecked there. Not going to be any of those left standing. Oh my goodness me, that was intense. But yeah, he is just focusing my cavalry with his archers now at this point. So I doubt any of these cavalry will manage to fall back. And he's also managed to take out this wall. Probably with one more hit it will fall. And over at this side as well, he's almost taken out all of my forces. He's not actually charging these crossbows, which I don't know quite why he's not doing that. But yeah, this cavalry, you can just see, is just being absolutely destroyed. And this Onager crew is going to try and kill the rest of my archers as well, which are starting to waver. But yeah, it's not going to be long now until his forces manage to force their way through this combat. And let's jump in and watch the combat. Yeah, so he tried to pull his cavalry through there, but it wasn't really the best idea for him. The cavalry did probably take a few losses from that, and I am now focusing all of my archers onto this cavalry unit, seeing as it is going to try and outflank me over here. And I am actually sending my archers in to melee as well to try and break these halberds. However, unfortunately, I forgot about the cavalry for a moment, and they're just going to rip through my lines. Ooh, yeah, with the halberd support as well, that's definitely not going to help us. I assume those halberds will have broken. Yeah, they are wavering. But yeah, those cavalry, man, oh my god. I've got pretty much nothing to help as well. I am bringing up a unit of spears to set up a defensive line to stop the horsemen from, you know, forcing their way through. And he is actually going to pull back due to the presence of the spears. Luckily, most of the archers, well, not most of them, a few of them are going to survive. But again, he's just going to continue running havoc in behind my lines, and there's not really much I can do. I'm sending up a unit of swords now to try and help these archers get away, or to, you know, deter the cavalry. But no, he's just going to go straight in for another charge, guys. Not the strongest charge, but definitely enough to knock me down. And yeah, he is going to fall back. But then I've got my crossbows in position, and yeah, I've managed to take out a few of them. But unfortunately, guys, the outer walls is now lost, and you can see he is just going to wreck the back lines of my infantry. And yeah, it's finally time for the French to push inside the city. Oh, that was a fairly heavy charge, and yeah, that is going to rout both of those units fairly soon. However, I am actually sending up more. I do have, oh my god, I've still got more of these Scotland Bondia. I think these are the ones that were stationed over here. Yeah, it is. So they've ran all the way around. I assume they're going to be pretty tired. Yeah, they are winded, so I doubt they're going to fight very effectively. However, they should still, you know, do a fairly good job at holding up the enemy cavalry and see if I can take them out. I'm going to get a nice side charge as well into the enemy halberds. Oh no, apparently I'm just going to stop. Oh no, yeah, they're going to continue the charge there. And I should be able to get some nice kills on these halberds, seeing as they don't really do too well if they're charged. They only really do well if they get the charge bonus. So yeah, you can see their numbers are starting to drop to 63 now. And over on this side as well, I've actually pushed out a little further again and set up a defensive Pavis wall as well. Well, they're not actually Pavis, but they do look a bit like Pavis when they put the shields up. And again, my archers just probably racking up the kills. Only 29 for this one, but it does have an okay position. Firing a few volleys overhead and into the enemy forces. And yeah, that is starting to waver the enemy troops over here. And this sword unit has actually got a really nice charge. 16 kills for that unit, and especially against dismounted John de Cheval as well. That's what most of the kills were against. Or were on, pardon me. And over here as well, he's actually charged his catapult crew back in, and I've charged them with my archers as well. So hopefully I can break them. It looks like someone's actually shooting at them. Yeah, these guys are probably on fire at will, but they are broken now. And now we've got a little bit of a face-off over here, so that's pretty cool to see. Oh, that's a nice screenshot right there. Let's see if I can pick one up there. Yeah, there we go. That's fairly nice. So he is gonna decide to set up his Pavis here, which is a really good strategy because hopefully, well, for him anyway, he is hoping that I'm gonna use my archers to try and shoot his spears and waste the ammo.
The enemy have rallied their
But
units.
I'm actually targeting this unit of crossbows, but even still, I'm not going to get many kills on them due to the fact that they have a lot of missile defense. And yeah, guys, it looks like I'm going to charge these spears in. I'm not sure if I'm going to halt just short. Oh, are we engaging over here? Yeah, we've got one guy engaging over on the flank. That's so cool. Oh, but it looks like he just got taken out by an archer. Oh, I wonder if this line's going to engage, actually.
Fight, damn you.
Maybe this is a bet. Oh, yeah, his archers are getting a lot of kills on my men. Oh, my goodness, guys. And I don't know what these spears are actually doing. What am I doing with these spears? Oh, here we go, guys. They are going to force their way into the line at this point. Believe that I'm going to keep pushing them into combat. There's a lot of them that are still not fighting. And over here I've kind of like pushed a gap through his line as well, which is a little bit weird. And I'm actually going to charge these guys into the crossbows, seeing as they got round. And they're going to get a nice charge and hopefully kill a lot of the enemy crossbows. But yeah, doing that, my spears just got slaughtered by the Pavis as they tried to run through. You can see a few of them getting through, but yeah, they are going to waver. So I wish I could have, you know, split that group off just to charge them and hold that line. But yeah, that unit of spears just got absolutely slaughtered. Oh my goodness me, and I hardly got any kills on the crossbows. I got 2 kills on them, so it definitely was not worth doing that. Over on this side though, I've actually pushed up a unit of pikes. I'm not actually giving up these walls as easy as I thought I did. I thought, looking back on the replay, I thought I gave these walls up fairly easily. Looks like I'm actually going to send up some stronger units to help hold the line. And get this absolute carnage over on this side of the battlefield. Oh my god, so many dead bodies just littered everywhere, guys. Oh my goodness me, it is insane. And I believe that was more catapult fire, was it? No, I'm not too sure, but yeah, let's jump down over here as well. He's got some more Pavis, and he is just, it looks like he's holding off on his advance just so his archers can tally up the kills on my pikemen. Yeah,
Our men flee the field of
I
battle.
believe these pikes were 650, and yeah, for a unit that got 650 to only get 26 kills and to be so depleted, he's definitely done a good job there at taking them out. And over here as well, I'm just getting overrun. He's just put all of his archers up onto the walls, and he is just killing all of my units. And now he's going to start to march his spears forward as well. In a spear wall, it looks like, or well, it kind of looks like they're in a spear wall. Moving forward in formation. And I'm really struggling over here. I do have a couple of units of archers over here ready to fire on them as they come through this gap. And also my artillery is now firing at these archers from the town centre as well. Looks like I got a couple of kills. No, I still haven't got any more kills on this unit. Oh my god. Oh, there we go. We got a few there. Is this going to hit? Yeah, that looks perfect. Oh, that was a perfect hit there. Oh, about 10 kills for that volley, I think. No, only 5, but still a really nice hit. Most of the catapult fire missing though, which is a shame. And yeah, he's almost hold this side, but these units of Gotland Bond here considering they've got like, what, 26 kills, all of the other units got like 50 kills as well at most. Most of them getting only around 20. And yeah, they've still managed to hold this area with basically
Our men have
only
given up
swords
and are
and
running for
one
their
unit of
lives.
pikes for about 25 minutes, which is fairly impressive if you ask me, considering they're a very cheap unit. But now if we take a look at what is left of the armies, my man count is 240 less than the enemies at this point, which is a little bit worrying, seeing as I started with more men, so he's starting to turn the tables at the walls. However, most of the men that he's killed at this point, apart from the archers, he's got a nice kill on most of my archers, but most of the infantry units that he has killed have just been the Gotland Bondier. So I'm not too worried at this point. I still have a lot of my elite spears and elite swords left at the town centre, my Huskars of the late period. So I am still saving a lot of elite infantry for later on. And over here as well, even though these are Pavis, if you hit them in the side or in the back, they are going to take a lot of damage. And as you can see, that's exactly what I'm doing. He was going to push up over here, but he realised they had 2 units of crossbows ready to outflank him. And unfortunately, he is not paying attention to this part of the battle. And all of these archers are just racking up the kills. Look at all... Oh my goodness, guys, look at that. That was insane. Oh, and all these men just lying on the floor trying to get back up. Oh, I don't know if they're gonna manage it. No, it looks like most of them are laying dead, and this guy in the corner is about to roll over and admit defeat. He's holding on, guys, though. Let's see how he is holding on. Oh my god, this guy just will not give in. But there he goes. Oh, guys, that was so graphical. I'm so sorry to show you that. But, guys, I don't know. Maybe you enjoy watching that part of the game. I don't know. It is fairly realistic to see that kind of stuff. You know, not every man would die instantly from getting slain. Well, from getting slashed by a sword. You know, they would slowly bleed out on the battlefield. And, unfortunately, he's still not noticed this unit. And it looks like he's just about noticed it. But it is too late. And they have broken. So that's an entire unit of Pavis of the late period, which cost about 900 talons, and they are just gone from the battlefield with, they do have 52 kills from the other side of the battle, but yeah, they definitely could have done a little bit better if he'd have noticed what I was doing over there. I did use up a fair amount of my missile ammo though. These crossbows are down to like half ammo, and this one still has most of it left. However, if we look at my missile capabilities at this point, I've only really got, well, 3 units of crossbows left, and I do have this archer unit, but it's very depleted, so he definitely has the missile advantage, apart from the fact that I still have my catapult as well. But yeah, unfortunately, I am going to be outranged for the rest of this battle. But he is going to send up a unit of horsemen to try and deal with my crossbows, so I'm going to start pulling them back now behind my spear line. Over on this side though, I'm not sure if they're going to make it. No, it looks like they're not actually going to make it behind the pikes in time. I am pushing the pikes up though, and I am going to get them. The majority of the crossbows are going to be able to retreat. But at this point, his cavalry does have to fall back, which is why I'm going to turn and fire on them. If we take a look at this, guys, a lot of them should be dropping soon. Doesn't actually look like I'm getting too many shots off. There's a few going there just before they get round the corner. And yeah, a few cavalry losing there. But that was definitely a good attack for the Kingdom of France, losing 7 horsemen. And I probably lost about, 20 archers to that. But yeah, guys, this is kind of just what the battle is going to be now for the next 10 minutes. It's a little bit of a battle of attrition, while we both kind of, well, while the enemy moves their units inside the walls, and while we both kind of, you know, figure out how to attack this. Because I do have a very defensible position, however, I'm running fairly low on infantry, well, on sword infantry anyway, so most of my defences are going to have to be done by setting up defensive lines with spears and pikes. But the only problem with that is he has a lot of archers to be able to take out my pikes, and then halberds to take out my spears. So yeah, it is really awkward. However, I do have my cavalry in behind the lines, and they are hidden. So I'm going to try and keep them there. until the enemy forces push in, and then I'm going to try and get a nice flanking charge off on them. So you can see I'm actually moving them a little bit further back in, just so that they're as hidden as possible. I don't know if they can actually charge through here, I'm not too sure. I doubt it, it doesn't look like they should be able to, but I don't know if they'd be able to see me if they ran past there. It is possible. So yeah, I'm going to keep those there, hopefully for later. And as you can see, the enemy cavalry forces only have, well, one cavalry unit and the general left, which is exactly the same as mine. So our armies are fairly evenly matched at this point. However, the enemy just has a few more units of swords than I do at this point, and a few more crossbows as well. But anyway, guys, I'm going to make a little cut here, and I'll bring you back when something interesting happens. So guys, I've moved my units into the streets to form a defensive line with the crossbows in front of the spears to fire on the enemy units. However, over here, guys, the enemy cavalry is actually moving around to where my cavalry is, and it looks at this point that my units aren't actually hidden. I guess he must have seen them through the gaps in the buildings or something. And I'm looking over here at this point. I'm watching this battle, which is fairly stupid of me. I don't know how I didn't notice. But he is going to sit there and take the capture point without me even noticing. And as well, guys, if we take a look at this, oh, guys, this looks so, like it's like a jousting tournament. But no, he is going to come around this corner. And yeah, unfortunately, guys, I'm not paying too much attention. And he is going to get a nice charge into my man. Oof, that definitely hurt. I'm going to force my general into the ranks as well and see if I can get a few kills with him. I don't know if I can actually find the general. This guy's actually going to come back and hopefully charge into the back. At this point, he is targeting most of his archers at my general, which, you know, I can't really blame him at this point in the battle. I do have a defensive position. If my general can retreat, I'm probably going to be able to win the battle. But yet he's pinned it in with one unit of horsemen. They are taking a lot of friendly fire, and but at this point I'm sending over some spear units to try and help my general out. But it is going to take them a moment to get over there. Over here as well, we've got a nice charge coming in from the swords, and the spears are going to counter-charge as well. Probably not the best situation for my spears, especially seeing as they're now going to be outflanked by the Pavis as well. But at this point, I couldn't allow them to get into my crossbows, and I didn't really have enough time to set them up in a defensive wall. But that charge from my spears went fairly well for me, considering the unit of Polari was fairly lightly armoured and very depleted as well. This Polari, though, he spent, I think it's like 450 on them, and he did get 55 kills with them, so definitely not bad for that unit. Over here, my general's still holding on fairly well. I mean, we're very close to killing this cavalry unit, especially with these units coming over to reinforce. However, the enemy is sending over some halberdiers, so it is basically a race to save the general or a race to kill the general. So I am going to form a spear wall over here and try to get into these halberds to stop them from getting to my man. And then I'm going to send over these pikes to re-support the halberds, and then I'm going to try and get this spear unit over in to protect my general. But at this point, guys, he's done a really good job with these halberds. He's distracted my units just long enough to give his horsemen a little bit longer to hold, to give his archers a little bit longer to fire. And yeah, this is really precarious, guys. I was sweating at this part in the battle. I really didn't know how this was going to go, but let's see if we can find my general. I believe he's going to be one of these men pulling back over here. I think I'm pulling back to get a second charge off, but I'm not sure where he is. He's definitely still alive at this point. But I am trying to run him out. I don't know if he's going to make it, though. And yet, just as I get him out, he breaks, guys. I could not believe it. Just as I managed to retreat him, he breaks. I believe he's still alive. Oh my god, that guy just got toppled from his horse by an archer. But yeah, guys, these 5 or 6 units of horsemen are going to retreat from the battlefield. And I believe at this point, my general is still alive. I haven't noticed him die. Is one of these guys my general? This guy, I believe this guy could be my general from the start of the battle. Yes, so there's my general, actually with the King of Denmark with his little crown. That's a very small crown. and he's just gonna, looks like he's trying to kiss this building or something, but I don't know. Yeah, so he is gonna retreat, but luckily for me he is still alive, so that means that my men are not gonna receive too much of a morale penalty from the general running, because he's not dead, so they're not gonna be too worried the fact that he's alive. But over here, guys, we've got a little bit of fighting over on this side. However, there is a nice little path for him to sneak around if he wants to. However, I do have a few units over here as well. So at this point, we're kind of mostly just fighting. Well, we are only just fighting in this small area over here, guys. He's not really attacking over here just because I've got, a nice defensible position if I feel like pushing a unit up over here or something. But yeah, we've got pretty much all of our archers. I still have one unit of crossbows up in the town centre for later. I believe it's just one unit. Yeah, it is just one unit. So at this point, we are just fighting against these streets. And I'm pushing up my pikes. I know it's very dangerous because he's got all of his crossbows here, but I don't really have anything else to defend over here. I mean, I've still got a couple of units of pikes left for later on. But most of my infantry now, I've got like 2 units of swords left, maybe 3 units of spears, and that's pretty much it apart from the pikes. I did only bring 6 units of pikes to the battlefield. 1 of them did perish at the walls and 2 of them are fighting at the moment, and I'm actually having to send up a unit over there to stop them from flanking round. Well, let's jump into some of this combat. Oh, we've got some more archer fire coming in. They should get some kills. Looks like they're aiming for the Free Company footmen in the back lines. Haven't actually seen these in combat yet. Looks like they're holding back a little bit just to stay fresh. Definitely a good idea. You don't want to charge pikes head on with hundreds of men, but oh my god, guys, he has definitely taken out these pikes very quickly with his archers. He's doing a really effective job over here at holding me in place with these heavily armoured polearms, and yeah, he's just managing to take me out. And these spears are going to try and hold just a little bit longer, but they're not really going to be able to do much. And yeah, he's making sure that those pikes do not come back to the battlefield, which is, again, definitely a great play. And then at this point as well, I've literally just got this unit of pikes over here, which is still trying to fight off this massive horde. But again, he's doing a really good job at only engaging me enough to keep me fighting. And the general is dead. Oh my god, I guess my general probably ran into enemy men trying to retreat or something. Which is really annoying because that is going to start to affect my morale. If we take a look at the settlement damage now as well, it's down to 22%, so I've got -4 melee across the board, and I've also got morale penalties for losing the general as well. But again, over here, as I was saying, he's managing to hold me in place just so he can get the most of his units around, and also he can fire on my pikes. But he doesn't actually have any pikes of his own. Well, he may have had some before, but not anymore. So all of his pikes are gone, which means that my pikes are going to be very effective in fighting any of his infantry. And over here as well, he is going to start to push over. So I'm sending over these spears to try to help hold the front line. But yeah, we are going to have to deal with this flanking force of about 600 men, which is going to try and take us out. And over on this side as well, you've still got a couple of units, but they aren't moving up yet. It looks like they've actually taken a couple of artillery hits into the centre of the lines, because their formation is completely broken up, but they're just sitting here cheering that they've taken the walls. However, looking at the balance of power, it is not in my favour. I don't think it ever has been in my favour. But yeah, you can see I started with 250 more men than him, and I'm now down to, what's that, 300 less men than him.
Our men have given up and are running for their lives.
So he's killed 500 more men of my men than I have of his. But over here as well, I thought he was going to continue round to push, but he decided not to, so I set up a couple of units off my crossbows to take out his dismounted Jean de Cheval. And he's noticed that, so he's going to start forcing his men into combat as well. But it is going to take them a while to get there, and I'm definitely going to get a few shots off while he's trying to do so. But he's going to be able to, get a fairly nice position on me. Over here as well, these pikes have been ripped apart by the enemy archers, and there is none of them left. I believe he got these crossbows to fire over the buildings and into my flanks. So at this point I realised that these spears were outflanked, so I've sent them up over here to just hold this back a little bit. And I've got a couple of units of swords and pikes over here to hold, and I'm pulling the crossbows back as well. Looks like he's going to go for these swords, so I'm trying to stay out of combat to use my archer towers and stuff effectively. 1 second, guys, we've got a phone call.
Enemy forces have destroyed an entire unit.
Hey guys, what's up? I am back. Funny story, actually. I've just received that phone call, and I've actually been out for about 5 hours on a little day out with me mates. But I am back now, and I've just literally paused the recording and left it where it was, and now I am back. And where we left off, this unit of spears did get outflanked, but I've put them into a square formation inside this little hay bale. So they're going to hold a little bit better than they would if they were, you know, outflanked from two sides. And over here we do have the units of 3 company footmen and the halberdiers moving over onto this flank as well. I believe this is the John de Cheval. Yes, it is. And they're going to try and get a really nice charge off, but I do have my pikes in a defensive pike formation, and yeah, these John de Cheval are just going to get absolutely wrecked on the charge. A few of them getting into the lines though, and a lot of archer fire coming in as well, so we do need to be careful of that. And then we've got another unit moving around over here, which is why I've deployed this sword unit onto the flank, and I'm sending pikes over there so that I can get a flanking charge off with my Huskars of the late period. And just in time we managed to get our pikes down, and these 3 company footmen are probably going to get wrecked by my pikemen, and especially with the incoming charge from the flank with the Huskars as well. That is going to definitely not be very good for the 3 company footmen. We've actually lost a man there on the charge, which is a shame, but yeah, there's just a lot of those 3 company footmen dropping, and there isn't any support coming for those. However, my Huskars are getting a lot of shots in the back by the enemy crossbows, which is really not very good for us, seeing as they are a very expensive unit. However, they've not got too many kills, just because, you know, they got a fair amount, but it looks like they've already been shattered from those archer fire. However, they did do their job, in meaning that the pikes didn't take too much damage, and we did manage to rout that unit of 3 company footmen. It is going to come back, but I assume this archer tower will probably take the majority of them out. So I'm not really worried about that. Over here we do have a unit of Huskars moving in, but just in time I get my crossbows in behind my pikes again, and the story is very similar over here. We're being able to take out these halberdiers. However, we pretty much are exposed over on this flank, so I've put my crossbows in facing this direction to take any units that come and try to outflank us. And that works fairly well for the moment, and nothing actually got wrong, which is okay for us. Looking again at the man count, just to refresh my memory, so again, that's about a 300 man difference in favour of the attackers, which is definitely about where it should be at this stage in the battle for it to be a really close one. If the enemy didn't outnumber me, they would definitely struggle to make it up this you know, final defence. But again, over here they're just leaving their units in formation and not actually charging in, and you can see my crossbows lining up to fire, and I guess we're going to see a volley coming very soon. The halberds are now starting to walk into melee, and there goes some catapult shots as well. I think we should go and take a look what's going over there in a moment. No, the crossbows aren't actually going to fire, which is a shame, but they are going to fall back past the spears, and yeah, it looks like I was actually firing at this unit of Pavis spears over here. They are actually again facing the wrong way, it looks like. I'm not sure if I'm still firing on them though. Yeah, it looks like I'm still lining up to fire with my catapult. And you can see I'm now forming a retreat back to the town centre. I've left 1 unit of spears out that side to protect, and 1 unit of pikes over there. And I'm also keeping this unit of pikes. I believe I'm going to push them up over here to protect the flanks of my spearmen. But I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to get them there in time. Oh, but here comes some more artillery fire. Oh, and unfortunately the majority of them missing. I may have got 1 guy on the side. Oh, but there's a nice hit there. That's exactly what we want to see. That one definitely got a fair amount of kills there. And that actually helps us enough. It looks like the spears are actually going to not try to outflank us, because if they did, then we would be able to outflank them. And I am actually sending my crossbows up now, I believe to engage the enemy crossbows, or possibly to fire over at this area. There's not really much going on over there. And I am going to charge my spears into battle with the crossbows, so they are not now in a spear defensive wall. So that isn't going to be good for us. We're probably going to take in some more casualties from the enemy crossbow fire. But yeah, we're doing okay. Over here again, they're still forcing these Pavis forward, but again, they're not in a formation, so they will take a few more casualties, but still, they should be doing just fine. It looks like my crossbows are actually kind of wasting ammo here. I believe I am going to charge this unit of crossbows in here, though, seeing as they are pretty much out of ammo. I'm trying to do something with them. It looks like I'm going to send them round the flanks. And yeah, I'm bringing the other unit back behind the crossbows. They are, however, sending up some more men over there, though. Or maybe I'm trying to fire at the enemy crossbows over here, or maybe try to break the enemy halberds. But yeah, these spears are going to force their way into the pipeline. There's not really much they can do now, seeing as they have expended most of their missile units. They've probably got, well, they've got like 2 units which still have a decent amount of ammo in. But maybe he could have used this crossbow unit a little bit more efficiently to kill my pikemen. I'm not sure why he didn't really do that, but still he's going to be getting a fair amount of kills. He probably will take a few casualties from the Hanseatic infantry in behind as well. Oh my god, guys, they have 167 kills. That's really good for their unit as well. And this one already has 12 kills, but it's literally used like none of its ammo. So I'm fairly happy at how my army is holding up. And over here as well, I'm bringing the pikes round to see if I can flank the enemy forces as well. However, he does have a unit of swords over here. And I don't really want to turn my spearmen to face the other way from these archers. I don't want their back showing, because then these archers will just wreck my spears like I did to the boss's spears earlier on. Looks like he's actually sending units of crossbows up to intercept my spears though. However, just in time, this unit of spearmen breaks, and I'm able to get my spears into a defensive formation. And it looks like just in time as well. I'm not sure if we're going to get the pikes down in time. They are still charging, but just in time, guys. Yeah, we managed to get the pikes down. And this Scots Guard is just going to run straight into my pikes. They aren't in the best formation. However, they were in a good enough formation to be able to hold off these archers. And they shouldn't get too many kills. They might get a few, but we should definitely be able to deal with them. And over here, my spears have actually had to charge into battle. Again, they didn't get a defensive formation up. The 4 Homestorms did actually charge us before we could do that. But yeah, we've managed to block off both of the choke points over here, which is okay. We've still got the back area covered by a couple of units as well. And again, I'm not too sure why he isn't trying to send some units around this way.
Have rallied their units.
Possibly because we do have a couple of archer towers over here, so I guess that's a good call, staying away from those archer towers, because if you guys play Attila, you'll know that archer towers rack up kills. Yeah, absolutely insanely. These Scots actually managed to survive. I guess they routed and came back, but yeah, as you can see, most of my units are now retreating into the safety of the town centre. It looks like I'm actually going to lose a couple of men to the Scots Guard with their spears as well. Ooh, but a nice volley from the archer towers, killing about 5 of the Scots Guard. Absolutely nerfing their charge right there. But we do manage to get 1 unit of pikes. And well, 2 units of pikes. I guess we've turned them around to engage those archers. But yeah, it was a nice volley by those archer towers, both firing like 3 shots and all of them connecting. So yeah, it was really nice to see that. And again, over here, we're basically going to have the archer tower support. If we take a look all the way out to here, so these archer towers are actually going to be firing consistently, helping us to defend this town centre. This city is a really nice one to defend. I do really like it, and it definitely worked very well. I mean, I got a little bit sick of playing this map, doing my Mercia campaign. However, it is really nice to play it on the large city size, and it really does offer a lot of diversity, because it's fairly easy for the attackers to attack the walls, because it's a very open area. So it's harder for the defenders to sort of choke point the enemies. And there's also a lot of cavalry possibilities in this city, as well as we've seen a few nice cavalry charges, and my general getting absolutely destroyed over here as well. Well, my general actually got away, didn't he? But I think he ran, tried to get out one of the gatehouses, and probably got killed by burning oil or something like that. Over here, the Scots Guard are going to take out these towers, as I've just said before. He definitely realises that he needs to deal with these towers before he moves in, otherwise they're just going to get so many more kills, especially with the support of my catapult and my final unit of Skull Crossbowmen as well, which is basically the only missile capabilities I have left. I still have this one unit of Skull Crossbowmen, but they're not going to really do anything considering they've got so little ammo and they're very depleted as well. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I am going to fast forward this battle, or just make a little cut even, until the enemy begins to engage our town defence. So here we go, guys. The boss is going to start off by sending up his crossbow units, which are out of ammo. However, you can see they've still got really big shields and a nice sword to fight with, so I definitely think that they're going to, you know, perform fairly well in combat. You can see I'm actually forming my pikes up into a nice thin line to cover this entire section, and I'm doing that. Hopefully I can get these pikes down in time. Ooh, getting them down just in time, but yeah, these Scots are getting a really nice charge off over here. Ooh, that guy losing his head, yeah, well, not Scots Guard, but the crossbows just absolutely ripping through my men. However, that did manage to hold them back just for a moment longer, so I could get a few more shots off. But yeah, those pikes just getting absolutely destroyed. Maybe I shouldn't have had them spread out so much. We actually have a peasant fighting over here. A peasant woman fighting for her homeland amidst two of her pikemen. And the pikemen are going to run off and leave her to die. So heroic of these pikemen. So noble. These guys, yeah, they don't have any arms. They don't have any heart either, because they've just allowed this woman to be destroyed right in front of them. So, yeah, you run off without your arms, you idiots. I don't know, maybe I haven't got one of the... I don't know, I seem to have a little bit of a graphical glitch there. I don't know why that is. These guys all look okay, though. And, yeah, these guys are missing some arms as well. Most of them look okay. Guess there's just a bit of the unit models which are lagging out a bit. But over at the main engagement we have, it looks like some of the Scots Guard have joined the battle amidst the Arbaletier. Yeah, you can see them in there. Let's just take a look at some of these animations again, see if we can catch some nice heads flying, or some nice spear stabs. Oh, look at that Scots Guard general over there. Oh. Well, I don't know if he was the Arbaletier, but there's the Scots Guard guy over there. I do love the Scots Guard. They look so amazing. And talking of Scotland, I've actually just started a new Scotland campaign with Celtic Warband as well. So if you haven't seen that, I'll leave a link at the end of the video for you to go and take a look at that. It's a Scotland versus Aragon 1295 AD mod campaign. So hopefully it will be pretty awesome. And yeah, hopefully we'll get a battle in that campaign soon as well. But yeah, back to the battle, guys. You can see I'm bringing up some of my Scald Spearmen as well to bolster the lines of the pikemen. I'm actually moving the pikemen back a touch as well, just so that they are protected by the Scots Guard, by the Scald Spearmen even. Scots Guard, why do I keep saying Scots Guard? That's because they're right there waiting to charge. But yeah, these pikes, as you can see, it's a good job I swapped them out, because most of them are going to get away. And I'm also going to start to use more of my catapult fire as well. And he is going to charge the remainder of his missile units in. And I'm just going to continue to hit his forces. It looks like I'm hitting most of his archers, which are completely out of ammo anyway. I'm getting a few hits on his swordsmen as well, which is what I'm probably aiming for. And it looks like he's actually trying to push through the line over here. I mean, the icon is a little bit through the line. I don't know if somebody... Yeah, it looks like they actually pushed through a bit. But I'm going to bolster my own spear line now with a little charge from my depleted crossbowmen. So my entire force now is literally on this hill embankment. So we've got 1 unit of spears, 2 units of pikes, and 1 unit of swords, 1 unit of crossbows. And then this catapult. This crossbow unit is pretty much going to die any moment. But if we take a look at the enemy's force, they still have more numbers than us. But they are pretty much down again to only these this is their only infantry force now. We can't really count these because they will just break as soon as they get into the battle. So he's basically just got these 4 units here and then his spears in the back. So it is very even at the moment. The main difference being that the boss's general is still alive, so he does have the morale advantage. And plus, now we have 25% settlement damage, probably due to myself burning a few of my own buildings. But yeah, so we're starting to lose more missile defense as well, more melee defense even. But now that the crossbows are retreating due to the catapult fire, which was my tactic, I was trying to scare them off with the catapults, and it completely worked. And now I'm going to send in the pikemen in behind the spears to bolster the line, just as the crossbows break as well, which was perfect. So now they are going to struggle. I just saw a nice shot over there. There's another one as well. Yes, love to see them in the corner of my eye. That was amazing. And then yeah, we have a nice little grind over here. So basically, guys, the battle still has 13 minutes left, and it is all going to be concluded up on this hilltop. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be playing it very defensively. The boss is not going to charge his whole army in head first, just because, you know, that wouldn't really go well for him. And I'm trying to keep my pikes over here out of missile range as well, just for later on in the battle. Hopefully, I won't need to use them as a last resort, but they are there just in case that is what we need to use them for. And also we're sending up this unit of Hussars of the late period to bolster the lines as well. I guess they're going to charge straight in, so let's join in with them once they do so. And we're going to go through the lines of the spears and give the spears a little bit of time to rest up as well, guys. Which is definitely necessary. If we take a look at the spears, yeah, they are completely exhausted. The pikes are completely exhausted. So having an active unit in combat, especially seeing as most of the enemy units are tired and winded as well, that's definitely going to help us out in that battle as well. But yeah, I'm actually sending the pikes now as well, seeing as his crossbows are, you know, far enough away that they're not really going to be a concern at the moment. So I'm pretty much sending everything in at this point. And the boss as well, he's sent in his depleted unit as well. You can see them fighting right now. So all he has left is his general and those spear units, apart from his crossbows. Oh my goodness me, this is gonna be a little bit of a grind, guys. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna reform my spears. That looks so cool with all the spears reforming in battle and then just slowly pushing forward to bolster their own lines. That was a nice hit on the enemy spears as well. Now my pikes are going to begin to push through. And yeah, oh god, I love it when battles come down to such epic standoffs. And this is definitely the best battle I have played in 2018. Well, I think I played it in 2018. It was a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, the best battle I've uploaded in 2018. I think it's the only battle again, but yeah, I think it's going to hold the title of being one of the best battles on my channel for a while, until hopefully it doesn't hold the title, because I would love to have much more battles of this caliber. But yeah, it looks like the enemy general, the Count's Household Guard, is gonna move up his units of cavalry. There isn't really much I can do, and he is now in my crossbow range as well. It looks like he is taking a little bit of damage from my crossbows. I think at this point though, I don't think I'm going to be able to be shooting his general. I think it looks like he's going to send them into combat, as he is as well. He's going to send his general into combat on foot. That is so amazing. Oh, guys, I love it when people do this. When it gets down to such a last stand that the general has to be forced in off his horse. Where is he? Can we find him? He's got to be over here somewhere in the middle. Is this him running forward in the centre? Oh no, I think he's... can't tell. I think it's this guy. This guy right here, I think. That looks like a general to me. And I'm going with that's him. But he's not actually going to force his way in. I guess he's just... what he's done is he's got himself out of a position where my archers can fire on him. Just by being under this little hilltop. If you can't actually see, yeah, it's kind of obscuring his view a little bit. And I think I've actually just charged my crossbows. I'm not sure why I did that. It looks like I've pulled them out though, because the enemy did move their crossbows up a little bit so that they can engage mine. So we've got a little bit of a crossbow war, a little bit of a missile war, and then a massive grind of infantry as well. So yeah, we have about the same amount of crossbows left, but I do have a lot more ammo. And taking a look at the man count now as well, the allied man count and the enemy man count is pretty much neck and neck. I have 8 less men than the enemy do, so I've definitely pulled it back at this town defence. These final units of spearmen are definitely helping me to hold the enemy off. However, he does still have his halberds as well, and if he can get some shots off on my pikes from his crossbows, that could definitely help. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Let's actually get back into the fighting for a moment. Ooh, look at those crossbow fire as well. Oh my god, it's just death. Constant death.
Running for their lives.
Now my swords will definitely be doing fairly well due to the pikeman support. The crossbow is still firing over the top as well. All the men cheering. But yeah, it really is starting to thin out the lines at this point. The enemy general has now charged in as well. I did hear him charging before. He is now winded from a little bit of the fighting. If we're taking a look at the enemy crossbows, we have actually managed to rout one of the units. They are running home, and the final unit of crossbows is trying to whittle down my unit. However, my unit has not seen any battle the entirety of the battle, and it's got 98 kills already, guys. That's insane. But yeah, his crossbows have been taking damage throughout the entire battle, which is why they're just not really holding up to mine. But yeah, it is still really close, guys. Looking at the man count again, it's still neck and neck. I have about 5 men less than him, so we are both slowly losing men. But it's whether or not that he can tip the tides. And it looks like he's finally dropped to a lower man count than me. So it looks like the tide of battle is slowly changing. However, you do got to keep in mind that my general is dead. And his general's actually in there using war cries and stuff like that every now and then as well. So that's causing myself some damage. We do have a lot of morale deficiencies as well due to what's going on. So this is basically the last stand of the Danish Empire. The king is dead, and they are going to fight to the last on this hilltop. Oh my goodness. Let's have a little bit of a time lapse. Wow, guys, so many dead. You can see the rest of my units are forcing their way into the battle as well. Looks like the majority of my swords are starting to push back the pipeline.
The enemy have rallied their units.
Let's see how fast their numbers are dropping. Oh god, the enemy man count has dropped a fair amount at this point. It is really starting to tip into my favour. But I could have a mass rout at any moment, which is definitely what I was worried about. I was just worried on the fact if he used the war cry and I lost like 1 unit of pikes, then a unit of swords, then it definitely starts to, you know, cause some problems for me. However, they are managing to hold in there. The morale is still doing okay, still sitting on 18 and 38 and 46. 14 for that one. That one is on 52. So yeah, they're all doing okay. Looks like the boss is going to finally charge in his archers as well. So I believe that now that my crossbows pretty much have nothing to fight, nothing to fire at, they're going to charge in and finish off the enemy forces as well. And now you can see, guys, the enemy Scots Guard is starting to retreat back to where they came. Oh, just look at them running past the horses that are slowly lined up, watching their general die. Oh god. But I guess that's a lot of nice horses that will be adopted and inherited into the Kingdom of Denmark, and we'll be able to use them to fight in future battles. And yeah, you can see, guys, I took it away. You can see the balance of power has now tipped into my favour, so I can safely say that this is going to be a win for the defenders, for myself. And Denmark is going to hold strong. You can see there's now starting to be a little bit of a chain rout in the enemy lines now that the Scots Guard have gone. I believe this is Foot Arms have gone. The crossbows are now starting to waver. And I still have pretty much a full unit of pikes, and then a couple more 100 men holding the line as well. But yeah, guys, this battle was insane to play. It took over, I believe, an hour and a half to play, just because of the amount of troops, and it was like an 80-minute battle anyway. If you saw the replay, there was about 10 minutes of the bombardment phase that I actually cut out because it was such a tactical. I was going to say tactical and strategical, and I said tactical. Oh god. But yeah, there was a lot of strategy in this. As you can see, he's taken out pretty much all of the towers over on this side, and he's put a breach into the wall, burnt so much of the city. This entire quarter of the city, in fact, is burnt to a crisp. And then also, luckily, over on this side, he's actually taken the capture point as well, which is not going to be helping us. He didn't take this one, which is good for me. I guess maybe if he'd have took that could have made a difference in the battle if he sent his general over there. But if we go back for the last couple of minutes of the battle, the crossbows have now pulled back, and I've done that so that they can fire at the retreating troops, which is what I hope they're doing. I don't think they've got much range on any of these guys, seeing as the way that they're formed up. But I wanted them there to try and fire at the enemy troops as they retreated, just to make sure that those men do not try and come back in a second invasion attempt. But yeah, he's actually starting to move. Oh no, it looks like my pikes are actually pulling out a bit. I think they were getting fairly exhausted, yeah, so I wanted again to move them behind the spears, just to ensure that my pikes didn't break. Because if my pikes broke, guys, he would have been able to possibly defeat me from getting a charge with his depleted general and then following it up and stuff like that. Especially seeing as this is my last 2 melee units left. The enemy still has 4 melee units, including his general. So if he'd have broken those, my crossbows wouldn't really stand a chance. I guess they would be okay in melee. But yeah, guys, this is the final attempt to defeat the enemy. And we're charging in the crossbows now. It is do or die. And the man count is pretty even still if we take a look as well. We are chipping away at them, but we only have 200 men to the enemy's 100, guys. So literally, let's take a look. How many did we start with? So that's 7,000 men have perished in this battle, guys. That is insane. But finally, we are going to break the enemy forces, and one by one, their units are going to retreat. See if we can take some more nice shots of the enemies dying over here. Oh, he just got stabbed through his stomach over there. I love the way they fight with no arms. That's so funny. Oh, I'll have to try and fix that for the next one. And there we go, guys. A victory for Denmark. So let's go ahead and take a look at the statistics. So guys, taking a look at my force, you can see my general just got absolutely wrecked from that cavalry charge that the boss performed by one of his units. I believe it was Joan of Arc actually who managed to do that, or possibly one of his units of Cheval. But yeah, he just took my general out in that corner. I wasn't paying attention. My spears hold them fairly well against the enemy, but still taking a lot of casualties, mostly from the enemy crossbows, which I think that's where the boss used up most of his ammunition, is on taking out my elite spears from behind, and then also from taking out most of my archers and cavalry as well. These Skald spears holding at the very last stand did really well at keeping the enemy out. This unit actually surviving with 101 kills as well. My pikes just doing absolutely amazing across the board. 3 units getting over 100, one of them over 250, so definitely making up for the other few units that didn't do as well. And these Gotland beer, Gotland beer? Oh guys, I'm slipping up so many. It's so late, guys. I've been out for a while. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's the Gotland Bondi are doing really well for such a cheap unit. This one getting 58 kills. God, that must have been a good flanking charge or something. This Huskars unit as well. Remember, this one got chewed up by the enemy archers pretty much at the last stand, and then this one I believe is the one that actually survived right up until the end, and then most of them got taken out as well. But yeah, and then the Langbuster doing okay, whittling down. I believe it was enemy crossbows at the start. They definitely did a lot of damage to them, but they didn't get too many kills. But they did a good enough job so that I killed them with my crossbows, which is exactly what I have done. All of my crossbows doing absolutely amazing. These 2 units doing fairly average, but the rest of them, these guys, 200 kills on this unit. So good crossbows, these skull crossbowmen. And this unit, even with so much ammo left and going into melee combat as well, 130 kills on them. My cavalry, some doing okay, again, some doing not too great just because they got like one good charge off and then just got wrecked from archer fire. But taking a look at the boss's force, his spears doing amazing across the board as well for spear units. These 2 units getting 200 kills between them. And then all of his halberds as well doing fairly well. A couple of this one, getting cut down probably by archer fire again, but the rest of them doing absolutely solid. His 3 company footman got chewed up a little bit by my archers as well. And again, his foot down homestorms didn't fare too well against my Gotland Bondier and archer formation at the start, seeing as they were kind of getting outflanked by cavalry and stuff as well, and also all of the archer towers. And his Scots Guard as well, as expected. Scots Guard, very elite tier 1 archers, doing really well across the board there, and all of his crossbows doing even better than mine did. 200 across the board. Oh my god, and then this mercenary Genoese crossbowman. Oh my god, I do love those units, and I'm getting so many kills with them. And his horsemen doing okay as well. Joan of Arc doing okay as well. And his artillery not getting too many kills. My artillery piece 110 kills. I actually noticed that there was a lot of nice artillery explosions. But yeah, his artillery mostly just did its job in burning 25% of my city. That is insane. 25% with just one catapult. He definitely did his job there. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this battle, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed. I'm sorry about the little cut in between, me recording before and then finishing the episode. I got that phone call and then my whole plan for the night just changed. So sorry about that, but I hope you enjoyed regardless. So let me know if you want to see some more 1212 AD content on the channel. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe. But until next time, guys, my name is Hamdog, and I'll see you later.
And I feel it running through my veins, and I need that fire just to